Hi, welcome back to the Power of Model Drawing. Today we are going to continue with our online lessons on how do you draw out the problem creatively. Alright, so let's look at practice problem 1 and let's highlight the important words. Now, the total mass of 4 packets of tea leaves and 3 packets of coffee beans is 1 kilogram. Each packet of coffee beans is 30 grams heavier than a packet of tea leaves. So what is the mass of 1 packet of coffee beans? Alright, so what kind of model do we start with? Do we draw a comparison model or do we draw a parts whole model? Now, in this problem, there is a heavier than, so we will start with a comparison model. So let's look at the first sentence, and can we draw the first sentence? Now, if you are not sure how to draw, you will have to jump. Right, jump to the next sentence, and there's always something easy to draw. If the second sentence you cannot draw, then jump again. Right, so jump until you can draw a sentence out. So let's go look at the first one. We can't draw, so let's look at the second. Each packet of coffee beans is 30 grams heavier. So we can draw this model. So you have 30 grams heavier than 1 packet of tea leaves. So I'm going to draw a shorter rectangle, so it's easy to draw this sentence. And of course, you can put the 30 grams inside, or you can put it outside. So if you put it inside, then it will look like this. You put it outside, then the 30 grams will be like this. Okay, so you can choose whether you want to put inside or outside. Each has its own advantages. Now, if you put inside, then you have created units. Okay, that is the advantage of putting inside. If you put it outside, what happens later on is if you need to add on to your model, you need to write something into the rectangle. You don't have to worry. You don't have to erase again because the rectangle is clean. There's nothing inside. So if you put the 30 outside, you have a clean rectangle, right? But because you have put the unit, 1 unit and 30 inside already, so later on, if you find that you need to put something else into the rectangle for the coffee bean, you may have to erase. Okay, erase the 1 unit and 30 just to put something inside. So there are advantages and disadvantages. So what you do is you just decide whether you want to put inside or outside. Alright, but for now, we put inside because we are going to draw something called a stacking model. So let's continue to draw the model. We jump back to the first sentence. Total mass of 4 packets of tea leaves. So what you see is 1 packet of tea leaves. So what do? You stack down. Alright. So in our earlier lesson in 2019, I've taught you how to draw a stacking model. So you have to stack downwards and you cut 3 more rows. Right, and then now you have 4 packets of tea leaves, and of course you label, and you have 1 unit in all the boxes. Alright, that's how you stack down. Alright, then you have 3 packets of coffee beans. So you stack up your rectangle, and you cut 2 more rows, and now you have 3 packets of coffee beans, and you make the model all look identical by doing something like this. So you have all the units on the left side and all the units on the right side. Okay, alright, and then make sure you have drawn out the whole sentence because there is a total mass that you have not put inside the model, so you need to put down the total mass. And then keep reading because your model should have a question mark. So what is the mass of 1 packet of coffee bean? So that is your question mark, which is to find 1 rectangle. Okay, and your model is done. So it's a simple model. Okay, what do we do next? Alright, once you have drawn out the model, you need to look at your model and use it to work out your steps or to write your unique statements. So what I will do is, I will take away all the numbers which are not units. Model drawing is about units. You need to look for the units, alright, or you make units out of the model. So we take away all the numbers and the whole model has become smaller. And so you will have 7 units left in the model, right? And the 7 units can no longer be 1 kilogram. But before we continue doing, now you need to take note, these are all grams, alright, all the 30 grams, and this is a 1 kilogram. So you have to make them to be the same unit sign. You have to change it to grams. Only when you have made them the same, then can you plus or minus. Alright, very important, because you cannot just take 1 kilogram and minus 30 grams. They are different units. Okay, so now you have 7 units. So how many is 7 units? So you cut away all the 30s, and your total will not be 1000, but will now minus 90. Alright, so your 1000 cut away 90, and how many do you get? So you will have 1000 minus 90, that will be 910 10 grams. Okay. Alright, then what's the next step? The next step is to find one unit. So you take 910 and then you divide by 7. And you will get 130 grams. Okay, so just remember, if your problem has units of measurements, whether it's length, mass, and volume, if you find that you have kilogram and grams in the same problem, right? Like for example, you have kilograms and you also have grams, right? Then what must you do? You have to make them the same. Make them to be the same units of measurement. Okay, so your one unit is 130 and you can solve the problem. The whole model is to find one unit. So once you can find one unit, you can actually solve the problem very fast. You look at the question mark. To find one packet of coffee bean, you have to take 1 unit plus 30. So you take 130 grams plus another 30 and you get 160 grams. So how heavy is one packet of coffee beans? So your answer will be 160 grams. Okay, so that's how you draw a stacking model. Okay, now let's go to another example. Now, at the zoo, the total cost of one adult and two child's ticket is $56. The cost of one child's ticket is $11 less than an adult's ticket. Immediately, I will think of comparison model because of the less than. So how much will Mr. Ong have to pay for his whole family of 4 adults and 6 children? Alright, so what do we do? Now, because I'm going to draw a comparison model, so I look at the first sentence. Can I draw a comparison model by looking at the first sentence? I can't, right? So you have to jump to the next sentence, and now you can draw that comparison model. So yeah, one child's ticket is less than one adult's ticket. Okay, so it'll be something like this, and you can put the $11 outside. Okay, let's put, okay, and that's how you draw the second sentence. Now we can come back to the first sentence and add on to the model. So you have total cost of one adult and two child's ticket. So remember the stacking model, you just have to stack one more box on top, and now you have another child's ticket already. And the total cost is at the side, and that will be $56. Okay, all right. Then how much will Mr. Ong have to pay for his whole family of 4 adults and 6 children? Okay, now if you like, you can continue to expand your model, stack up and stack down to have 4 adults and 6 children. But otherwise, I think you can look at this model and then try to find one child's ticket, right? And then one adult's ticket, right? So let's look at this model, right? So that we don't really have to continue to draw some more. If you want, you can, okay? But let's keep it simple. Let's look at this model, and all we have to do is we cut here, all right? Cut here, and that will be what? So you will see all the units, all the boxes on the left side, which look the same, and you call them units. So whatever boxes that look the same, you have to call them units. And then the right side, do I call it one unit as well? No, because that is your $11 less than. All right, that is your $11 lesser. So you have to put $11. So do not put everything all units. All right, you have to look at what you have drawn. Okay, then what else do? We do the same thing. We take away those that are not units. We cut away the $11 here, and then there'll be 3 units left behind, right? So will the 3 units be now $56? No, it will have become smaller already. So the total will have become lesser by $11 because you cut away $11. So when you cut away 11, you minus. Okay, very important model concept. Cut away something from the model, the total become lesser. And how do you make it lesser? Just minus. If you make the model bigger, right, or you stretch the rectangle, then the total becomes bigger. So you have to plus. Okay, so 56 minus 11, that will be $45. So of course you can find one unit, which is 45, and then you divide by 3, and your one unit is $15. All right, so now we can find a lot of things. Can we find one child's ticket? Yeah, which is $15. Can we find what is one adult's ticket? Yes, which is 1 unit plus 11. Right, so what is 1 unit plus 11? Which is 15 plus 11, and you will get $26. So one adult's ticket is $26. All right, with these numbers, you can find the answer. So how much would Mr. Ong have to pay for 4 adults? So you just take 4 times how much is one adult, which is 26. So you do your working, and you will get $104, which is 4 adults. And there are 6 children. So you just take 6 times 15 each, and you will get 90. All right, $90. So in total, how much would Mr. Ong have to pay for the whole family? So you take 104 and you plus 90. And he has to pay a total of $194. And that's how you use the model to solve. It's a simple stacking model. Okay, so the whole idea, every lesson that you have seen so far is about learning how to draw out the problem. All right, and then you solve later by looking at the model. Okay, let's look at something even harder now. Okay, it's a bit harder now. And how do you know it's harder? Number one, you see a lot of words, but also be very careful that it doesn't mean, be aware that doesn't mean that there is a lot of words in the problem. It's going to be very hard. Sometimes the more words the problem has, it is actually very simple. All right, like for over here, like it looks hard. It looks hard when you have no methods, but it becomes easy when you know how to draw your model. So Jessica and Sarah each bought identical computers at the same price. So they bought the same amounts of money. Jessica bought an identical pair of headphones, while Sarah bought an extra set of speakers. Jessica's headphone cost $40, and then Jessica spent $2,000 and Sarah spent $2,600. So can you find the price of the computer and the price of Sarah's speakers? Now, if you don't know how to draw the sentences and you start to solve it, right, using your logic, you will take a long time, all right? And halfway through your steps, you may get stuck or you get confused. So to avoid all this from happening, let's draw out the sentence, and then you will see how to write out your first step, your second step, and so on. So Jessica and Sarah each bought identical computers. So what do? You draw same rectangles. If you remember my early lessons again, how do you show equal amount? You draw a dotted line to show that the two rectangles are equal. Okay? Alright, so you actually draw the first sentence. So they spend the same amounts of money. Jessica bought an additional pair of headphones. So I'm going to extend the rectangle a little bit. It means that she spent more money, right? So do we know how much is the headphones? We are not sure. Okay, now let's do some labeling, because if I look at this rectangle, I don't know what does it refer to. So I would like to, over here, so she spent money on headphones, and then over here, she spent money on computer. Let's call it COMP. And of course, Sarah also spent the same amount on the computer. So now it looks better. So a good model has labels. Otherwise, when you look at your model, you don't understand what it is, right? Okay, so where are we now? We are actually until here already. So you draw about somewhere there. Sarah bought an extra set of speakers. Okay, so where do we add on the money that Sarah Jessica, where do we add on to the model? Right, Sarah bought an extra set of speakers. So what do? Now we can extend the rectangle for Sarah. All right, so because she spent more money, so let's extend a little bit longer. Okay, always remember, when you draw your model, it is never perfect. So later on, you realize that, or you may realize that you need to make adjustment. All right, let's see whether do we need to make adjustment. All right, so Mr. just draw a bit longer, because the question say that Sarah bought an extra set of speakers. So she has spent more money also. So let's put down speakers. Okay, and so you're until here already, right? Okay, now, Jessica's headphone cost $40. All right, so let's put Jessica's headphone. So you put the number into the box, $40. Okay, so you're until here already. Am I correct? So you just focus on the drawing sentence at a time. Jessica spent $2,000. All right, so I'm going to label, right? Put the arrow sign there, and that will be Jessica spent $2,000. All right, so the model gets clearer and clearer. And Sarah spent $2,600. Okay, so what do? Now, it looks a bit cluttered. There's a lot of things on the model. So if I want to put $2,600, it's a little bit hard to put it inside. So what do? Be creative. Use dotted line, right? Dotted line, right? And in between the dotted line, you can put down how much Sarah spent. All right, so you need to be tidy in your model. Your model has to be neat and tidy. If your model is too messy, or you just just anyhow draw, then you find that you can't use your model to work out the steps. So you draw dotted lines to show the $2,600 that Sarah spends. So you have drawn out the whole problem, sentence by sentence. All right? Then find the price of the computer. So your question mark is here. Am I correct? And then find the price of Sarah's speaker, which is the question mark here. And that is your model. Okay, so it looks actually not hard to draw. So when you draw the model, it may be a little bit different from my drawing, but in the end, you are going to look at your own model to write the steps. So now we can write the first step already. So how do we write the first step? You study your model, can you find the first question mark, which is the computer? So now you know your first step is 2000 minus 40, right? And you will get 1,960. So that is the price of the computer. So you put inside. Okay, whatever numbers you have found, you put it inside. And you got your part A. Alright, and then you can see that Sarah also bought the same computer, which is also 1,960. So now can you find the speaker? So you take 2,600 and you minus 1,960. That will give you the price of the speaker. So 2,600 minus 1,960, and you will get $640, which is the price of the speaker. And there you go. So you can see that if you don't have the model and you try to work out the steps using your logic, you will take a longer time. All right, and even worse, you may find that you get stuck or you make some careless mistake somewhere. But everything is clear when you draw out the model. And then from the model, you can draw, the solving comes very fast. Okay, so we are done with this lesson on model drawing. So stay tuned to next Thursday, 8 p.m. So every Thursday, 8 p.m., I'll be uploading my model lessons. So the whole idea, right, what is my purpose of having all these online lessons? Because it's to help you, right? Help you, especially the weaker ones, to do better in your math. And to do well in your math, you need to know your methods. If you don't have methods, then you are going to struggle to do well for your math. All right, so one of the methods is model drawing, which is a very common method, and that's also the method that your school teachers are using. So you need to continue to use the method and keep applying the method. All right, so I'll see you on next Thursday at 8 p.m.